Well, folks, welcome to one more edition of Politics and Random. Berto Willies, your host. Thank you so kindly for being a part of the show. We are going to have a grandiose show for you today, folks. How are my peeps doing? I trust everybody is doing fine. Let me get my speaker system here working right. And then we will be in business. And we are in business. We are in business. I see the chat is up, good and ready to go. Welcome aboard. Michael Rudden from Brooklyn, New York. May Wood from Long Beach, California. Bridge MCP from Binghamton, New York. Well, another little town close by, I should say. Eric Hayes from Atascocita, Kingwood. And E2247 from the entirety of America. We have who else is in the house? Who else is in the house? We have, I'm scrolling down from the top now. I'm scrolling down from the top with my eyes. Eric Hayes, I think I caught you already. Everybody's here. All right. And anyway, folks, we got a great show for you today. As usual, I only have one 7-minute video for you today, and it has to do with El Señor J.D. Vance. But other than that, we're going to talk about what they're trying to do with Medicare and what is it called again? In paper 25. It's not called proposal 25 or something like that. Melanie Keelan is in the house from Barcelona, Spain. ¿Cómo estás, mi Melania? ¿Estás ahí en un lugar que tiene, ¿cómo se dice? La salud mejor de lo que tenemos aquí? El estado de salud de España es mucho mejor que estar aquí en los Estados. Notice I'm trying to do that kind of thing with my tongue that you do in France. For the S. Estar. You know? What can I say? We don't do it like that in Latin America, but hey, what can I say? Medicare disadvantage. Hey, Eric is coming around. He understands it is Medicare disadvantage. You're right, my brother. It is Medicare disadvantage. Paul Fleming from ATL, Atlanta, Georgia. Checking in. How you doing, Paul? Great to see you here this afternoon. It was great seeing you this morning. I couldn't get a chance to read all your stuff. You know, I'm doing 20,000 things at the same time, but that's okay because you know what? You're here again. Anyway, folks, how do we start this guy? Well, I guess we got to start with just clarifying something. I got a newsletter here that I probably should put on the screen right now. As you know, here in town, we have what can I say? The name of the person, as I said, Kim Ogg is running for DA as an incumbent, and John Tier is running against her. And I guess they are of the belief that one of the ads that she's doing is a bit misleading, and they're asking the reporters to go ahead and take down these ads. So let me just go ahead and do my part for honest reporting. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and read this letter from Rocky Salingram, who is the district. It says the following. For immediate release, today is the Sean Tier for District Attorney campaign. Call for Houston area broadcast stations to refrain from airing a misleading political act produced by Kim Ogg political campaign. The ad prominently features imagery of Houston Police Chief Troy Finner standing with Ogg, falsely implying his political endorsement in his race for Harris County District Attorney. Earlier this week, Chief Finner issued the following statement regarding the ad. I was recently made aware of a political ad by Harris County District Attorney where a photograph of me in uniform was used without my permission. The photograph and ad were done without permission. In my nearly 34 years in law enforcement, I have a history of staying independent of politics. As chief of police, that has not changed. I respect the district attorney and her opponents, but I am not endorsing a candidate and look forward to working with whomever the people of Harris County elect. So that is the message that was placed on that Tier wanted released by all the broadcast stations. And that is done. Okay, what else have we got here? let me get back to what you're saying here. Medicare disadvantage, Medicare Fleming. Senate Judiciary Committee Chair Dick Durbin is calling on Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas to recuse himself from a case focused on Donald Trump's eligibility for the 2024 ballot. I mean, you would think that they want to do that. Why would they want to do that? They would want to do that because, again, his wife was complicit in the insurrection. His wife was complicit in the attempted overthrow of the government of the United States. So he should be recusing himself. Hell, he may be complicit himself. All right, Paul Fleming also puts out, he says, new investment in the IRS will reduce the deficit by hundreds of billions of dollars by making the wealthy and big corporations pay the taxes they owe. Paul Fleming also says, a day after back-to-back failures on two high-profile bills, Republican House Speaker Mike Johnson faced doubts about his leadership as Congress lurched toward another government shutdown. The deadline is less than a month. Yes, it is. Eric Hayes says, look at politicians AG in New York and GA and see what happens. Okay. Mike Cisak is in the house. Welcome, Mike. He says, if the Third Circuit cool rules stand in, Jason Miyares, the AG of VA, could indict Barack Obama, who murdered Anwar al-Awlaki, a U.S. citizen and a Virginia resident. Well, I like how you put that, right? But that ain't going to happen. No, there is no president as corrupt as Donald Trump. And the reason that we are going after him is the man attempted to overthrow the United States of America. He attempted to overthrow the government of the United States of America. He attempted a coup, right? So come on now. I know you guys are going to use that stuff about Obama killing the terrorists, right? I don't think America would care too much about that particular incident, though I care about the lives of anybody. E2247 says DC Circuit opinion rejects 45th president immunity as per curiam instead of 2-1 decision is significantly making less likely to nail prospects of number 45 gets an en banc. Actually, that has already been resolved. He won't get an en banc. And the reason he won't get an en banc is that if he goes for en banc, they release the stay and the proceedings go on, even as the en banc deliberates. And so he has until Monday to get to the Supreme Court and pledge his case. And then the Supreme Court can take it, not take it, reject it, hold it, whatever the hell they do. All right, Paul Fleming says, I think I read that one already. Increased money for IRS enforcement of the Inflation Reduction Act is now expected to bring in $560 billion over 10 years. A disproportionate amount of this revenue will come from taxes, and the wealthy and corporations already owe but avoid paying. This is why you fund the IRS. Exactly right. All right, what else have we got here? What else have we got here that I need to read? Bridge FCP says, state and federal authorities have traced robocalls that encourage Democrats not to vote in New Hampshire presidential primary back to a Texas company and its owner, New Hampshire Attorney General. FCC traced AI robocalls impersonating Biden back to a Texas company. I read that one. They better act. They better make an example out of him. All right. Mike Cisak says, Egberto, according to the FBI, there was no insurrection. Mike Cisak, according to my eyes, according to the eyes of most Americans, there was an insurrection. We could see it with our own eyes, okay? The FBI was controlled by whomever, the president. No, by a whole lot of guys that are left back from the previous administration as well. Nope, that was an attempted coup by definition. You guys can try to say whatever you want. Donald Trump attempted a coup on the United States of America. He is a traitor. I repeat, es traidor. He's a traitor. Donald Trump attempted a coup. You can sugarcoat it however you want. The guy tried to overthrow a legally elected, a dutifully elected president. He's a criminal. Let's get it straight. All right, let's continue. Paul Fleming says, in the ongoing dysfunction in Congress has taught us anything is that the Republican Party can't even govern itself, much less the country. I think that's a foregone conclusion, right? Foregone conclusion. But the chaos isn't happening randomly. It's part of the manufactured plot to sow cynicism and get you to check out. Don't fall for it. I had a conversation with somebody where I said that's exactly what this chaos is to do, including some of the chaos in all these different chat rooms. You keep throwing spaghetti and see if something sticks. What I say is you just go ahead and paint the wall with oil. Nothing sticks. Just slides right down the way it should, right? Okay. Let's continue. Maywood, that's a reply. Let's see. Yvette Avery Herod is in the house. Welcome, Yvette. Great to see you here. And Lee Grant finally made it. Hi, Lee Grant. How are you doing? Lee Grant? Welcome aboard. And let's see. Hey, PDR Posse, do you think SCOTUS will deny cert right away? I hope they do. Or first say a 10-day stay before denying cert. I don't know. I hope they do it right away. They have enough information. They don't need to go any further. Paul Plumman says, programming note, MSNBC will broadcast the Supreme Court audio live at 10 a.m. This Thursday for arguments in the 14th Amendment case and keeps Donald Trump on the ballot. Then, 8 p.m. Eastern Thursday night, we will roll out the long desk of special analysis. Está bien. Lee Grant says, leftists getting increasingly worried about Trump. I'm not worried. Like I told you guys, we're going to have a landslide victory for progressives in November. I know you guys don't believe it when you look at the numbers today, but there will be a landslide. Mike Cisak said, Egberto, there was no insurrection by those who supported Trump, at least according to the actual legal definition. It was just a riot, which leftists do all the time. Nope, it was an insurrection. They broke into the Congress. They broke into the actual house, the hallowed house floor. And just listen to the tapes of them breaking into the house. That's all you got to do. So you say not without with the evidence staring in your face. That really, my brother, puts your credibility in doubt. But he says, if you feel Trump didn't do anything wrong, you're part of the problem. I rest my case. So, Egberto, why have none of the people been charged with insurrection? They don't want to go there. You know, it's like what I tell the folks here with the district attorney. You have the right. District attorney have a whole lot of rights, right? Trump outpolling Biden 44-43. Clearly, not everyone shares your view. I know. Some Biden Trump 44-43. Also, you had a poll that had Trump up by, I think, 5. You know, but none of them were at 50%. But it's worse than that. When people have to decide, do I really want to put a rapist in office? And Grant, I am concerned. I want you to listen to this interview with Lee Grant. I mean, not Lee Grant. With, ¿cómo se llama el tipo? With J.D. Vance. Because by all means, I cannot see how you all, for those of you who are, feel it is okay to put a rapist in the highest position in this land. Michael Rodden says, Lee Grant, 91 charges across 4 jurisdictions. New York business fraud, Georgia election fraud, D.C., Florida, willful retention, D.C. inciting insurrection. We are not worried. Trump is going to prison. It's not a matter of if, but when. But anyhow, it is time for our video. Or should I do I'm going to do the video before I do the Medicare expansion. So let's go ahead and do the video, and then we'll take it on the other side. Ohio Senator J.D. Vance. He is the Republican from Ohio that once said in 2016, I can't stomach Trump, is what he said. He also said, I'm a never Trump guy, of course. Later on, he would give his mea culpa, and he would become one of Trump's biggest sycophants. And that is where we are today. Well, you know, Donald Trump has been pretty much convicted. I think it's because it was a civil case. They don't call it conviction of doing what again? The judge said he raped the woman. That's not what anybody else said. That's what the judge said. He said if it occurred today, what you did would be called rape, Mr. Trump, right? But JD Vance, when asked about how do you feel about electing a person, about having a person like Donald Trump, who has done this to women, provably, that you support him. I want you to listen to JD Vance's response. Senator JD Vance, Senator Republican of Ohio, JD Vance. Take a listen to this, and then we'll take it on the other side.
Wages are rising now, and we just saw that economic report come in this week showing the economy continues to grow, new job growth as well. But since then, Donald Trump not only lost the 2020 election and tried to overturn the results, he also faced a series of legal judgments and indictments. Most recently, this E. Jean Carroll case where juries have found him liable for sexual assault and defamation, leading to ads like this.
Supporting Donald Trump sends a message to every abuser,
A stunning verdict. Former
every
President Trump
rapist,
has been ordered to pay
and every man who's ever used his power to hurt a woman. Because if he can do it, why shouldn't they?
How do you respond to that your support of Trump is sanctioning that kind of behavior, sexual assault and defamation?
Well, I think it's actually very unfair to the victims of sexual assault to say that somehow their lives are being worse by electing Donald Trump for president, when what he's trying to do, I think, is restore prosperity. So I think it's insulting to victims of sexual assault. If you actually look at so many of the court cases against Donald Trump, George, this is not about prosecuting Trump for something that he did. It's about throwing him off the ballot because Democrats feel that they can't beat him at the ballot box, and so they're trying to defeat him in court. This case, like so many legal cases against Donald Trump, they're trumped up. They're in extremely left-wing jurisdictions, or it's actually the Biden administration prosecuting his chief political rival. I think most Americans recognize that this is not what we want to fight the 2024 election over. Let's fight it over issues. Let's fight it over how to redeliver prosperity to the American worker and peace to the world at large, not over these ridiculous court cases that, frankly, they've been throwing at Trump for well before he became a political candidate, and they're going to be going after him for a long time because his agenda is actually a threat to the people who have been calling the shots in this country for far too long.
You call it a ridiculous case. These were juries that found him liable for sexual assault and defamation. That's ridiculous?
These are juries, George, in extremely left-wing jurisdictions. These are cases that are very often funded by left-wing donors, and they're cases that are funded explicitly to harm him politically. There's so many problems right here at home. I think Donald Trump is the best guy to fix those problems, and I think that we have a very, very good chance of persuading the American people. What they don't want to talk about is weird juries in New York City. They want to talk about how to make their lives better and how to bring the world to a more peaceful place.
So juries in New York City are not legitimate when they find someone liable for sexual defamation and assault?
Well, when the cases are funded by left-wing donors and when the case has absolute left-wing bias all over it, George, absolutely, I think that we should call into question that particular conclusion.
So you're not troubled by the sexual assault and defamation?
Now, here's the thing, people. Here's the thing. Notice no matter how Stephanopoulos tries to get him to feel some sort of an empathy for the regular women, for women in general, he has no care. Oh, it's the women that go through what the women raped by Donald Trump. They would be embarrassed that you guys are calling him out for that. I mean, it's embarrassing. People want to talk about prosperity. Well, first of all, yeah, people want to talk about prosperity as well, but also people should be concerned that the person who's going to be in the White House is a rapist, right? They should be concerned that the person going into the White House is somebody doing harm to women. They should be concerned that the person going into the White House, in as much as JD Vance would want you to believe that Donald Trump is the president of prosperity, that was never realized. He's the president of giving tax cuts to a lot of rich people and giving temporary tiny tax cuts. And I said temporary, tiny tax cuts to the average American citizen that, guess what? That expired. The tax cut to the wealthy never expired. The tax cut to the middle class, the tiny tax cut that really you barely saw. Some of it wasn't even real because what they did is change the way they withhold your monies. Oh, that was tiny and temporary. We have to grow up. We have to stop it. We have to start believing our eyes, believing our ears when we realize that the person that said that not because one says something means that they would execute something. Donald Trump has failed in rebuilding infrastructure. Donald Trump has failed in building the city wall. Donald Trump has failed in making people more prosperous. We must remember that under Donald Trump's administration, 80% of people were living paycheck to paycheck. 80% of the working class, paycheck to paycheck. If they got a $400 bill, they put them in dire straits. Look, it has improved quite a bit under Biden. It's still bad because now it's 60% of people who live paycheck to paycheck. But Biden has proven better economy than Trump in every aspect. Yet we have the Trump sycophants trying to convince Americans otherwise. And so far, they have been fairly successful. Progressives and Democrats, you got a lot of work to do.
We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead. Number 1, subscribe to our channel. And number 2, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.
Anyhow, folks, so it's amazing. Lee Grant, you surprised me. Biden is accused of digital rape. He's cast off an illegitimate grandchild. Okay. The magical word there is accused of digital rape. All right. Accused of digital rape, Look, I wasn't there. They said that happened in some sort of apparently he was hugging this woman and she said that he touched her with his finger, whatever. All right. And somehow that got blown up. But when it was time to go ahead and say, let's talk about it like E. Jean Carroll did. Oh, well, it must not have come to pass. And then he cast off an illegitimate grandchild. Oh, my God. That is so funny. Again, you want to elect a rapist, somebody who overtly says he wants to grab women by their you-know-what? Guys, those of you who will vote for Donald Trump, you will be willfully, again, I repeat, you will be willfully voting for a rapist. You would, a convicted, well, they don't call it conviction if it's a civil case, but otherwise it's a case. Let's see if this is somebody calling in here. This is Politics Done Right. How may I help you? Hello. All right. I think you may want to call back again to Politics Done Right. But anyway, let's go back and remind folks again that whomever decides to pull that lever, put that vote in for Donald Trump, is voting for a rapist, is voting for someone who has been found liable for sexual assault, is voting for someone who defrauded people with a so-called Trump University and had to return $25 million to them while lying. You're voting for someone who is a tax evader. You're voting all these things that are illegal, immoral, and criminal. You are willing to set aside the party that speaks about being the party of life, the party of law and order, the party that believes that criminals should go to jail, that always want to arrest people. If you're voting for Donald Trump, that's who you're voting for. And it is important for you to understand that we see it. We see it, and you have no moral authority. Zero moral authority to tell us anything. When you look at your daughter, when you look at your mother, when you look at your auntie, you remember you are voting for a person that consider them just a piece of raw meat that they can do whatever with them. You just got to put it graphically, folks. That's who you're supporting. And you're telling your children at that time, you're making sure that they know that that is okay. Just like the ad said, you're making sure that they know that that is okay. Don't forget it, folks. Let's be clear now. There's no, you can't say Biden did this or this other person did that. You are voting for electing someone that is a degenerate into office. And you know it. That's the funny part about it. Most of you know it. It's like putting your hands in your ears and just say, la, 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 I don't want to know, I don't want to know, I don't want to know. Well, I'm telling you, you are voting for an evil rapist. All right. Tom C. says, recent polls, 44 to 43 equal 87%. Seems like 13% are undecided. Mostly will vote for Democrat in the long run when the only other choice is Trump. You nailed it. Gene Daigle says, this is how journalists needs to push back and not allow misinformation and lies to be spewed unchecked. There is no longer any shame in our Trumplican politicians. I hear you. Michael Renner says, DAFUQ is Lee Grant talking about. Tara Reid, one accuser, she fled to Russia afterward. Biden grandchild, man's been deep in the conspiracy, John. Well, I find it amusing, right? How powerful getting into the trends, getting into that stuff can get, right? But hey, we still have to love our people, man. All right. Why is Vivian Maria always trying to put some kind of a junk in here about hepatitis or whatever? Spam be gone. All right. Michael Rodriguez, Egberto, the term you're looking for is cultist. Exactamente. Cultist. Eric Hayes says, thank God Egberto is not a DA in a court of law. I would never want to be a DA in a court of law. I wouldn't. M.R. Rational said, educated in a court of law as a rapist. Exactamente. All right, let's see. Bree says, Egberto Willis and taken from his fake cancer fund for children. Yes, I forgot about that one. I think they had to shut down that one, that charity, right? All right, Gene Daigle says, cult leaders are charismatic, highly convincing, and good at getting people to listen to and follow them. They often build their image on lies and may display narcissistic behavior. That's Trump. Michael Rodney says, lowest of the low. Forbes 2017, how Donald Trump shifted kids' cancer charity money into his business. Wow. That's what Bree just spoke about. Egberto, Vivian is a spam bot. I can see that. All right, what else have we got here? I'm afraid, this is Maywood says, I'm afraid that Obama isn't eligible anymore. And you're right. Jobs and money was short, except for big corporations and the wealthy under Trump. Not so good for everyone else, but it is getting better under Biden. Trump was going to crash shit. Biden saved it. All right, what else have we got here? Yep, shut it down. Eric has in charge is the crime family. Yep. Mike Cesek says leftists are cultists. Whoa, really? Who is the leader of our cult, Mr. Cesek? As they demand beliefs be the same in the group. Really? I don't get that out of it at all. But maybe you are seeing something that I am not seeing. I don't know. Just maybe. All right. Let's go ahead and continue here. The other topic for today is para ver. I need to bring down my actually I think I had it at Daily Coast. Let me go ahead and bring that one up for the second topic of the day because this one is dangerous. This one is dangerous. And I'm going to put it on the screen. It doesn't look like the screen is blinking. So I think I can get it up on the screen. The title that I want to cover is Hell No! Trump allies plan to privatize Medicare draws alarm and outrage. A right-wing coalition proposal to make Medicare Advantage a default enrollment option would be a clear handout to the private insurance industry. You see, they understand that people, when they're going to get their Medicare or sign up for Medicare, they just think some of this stuff is automatic. They just hit boxes, and what the corporatocracy wants you to do is accidentally go into Medicare Advantage, stay in there long enough so that you can't get out. I repeat, they want you to accidentally sign up for Medicare Advantage. Then when you sign up for Medicare Advantage, they want you to stay in there long enough so that they hook you and you're forever unable to really get your standard traditional Medicare. Hey, Mike Cisak wouldn't know Marx at all, so don't even try to entertain the conversation, Michael Rudnin. Let's stay on to the things that we have control over. Michael Cisak is indoctrinated. I love my brother, but he's completely and entirely indoctrinated from the misinformation on the right. But he chooses that. It's a free country. All right. So a right-wing coalition that's been laying the policy groundwork for another Trump presidency has developed a plan to further privatize Medicare by making fraud-riddled Medicare Advantage the default enrollment option, the newly eligible beneficiaries. Remember, Medicare Advantage is a fraud. It is a fraud, and we are spending about $140 billion more per year because it's a fraud, just taking our money and giving it to a few wealthy investors. Okay? Continuing. The plan highlighted Monday by Rolling Stone Andrew Pettis is outlined about half through Project 2025's 920-page playbook for the first 6 months of a conservative president. So you see, whichever conservatives get elected right away, they're going to jump in there, and they have a plan, a 925-page plan ready to execute. The idea behind this whole document is to get rid of the administrative state. In effect, it is a fascist control, fascist takeover, a complete privatization of our entire. I refuse to read all 900 pages, right? But anyhow. The Republican administration and right-wing groups have long advocated funneling people who are newly eligible for Medicare into Medicare Advantage plans, which are funded by the federal government and run by for-profit insurance. So once you say that you're moving something from being the public to the private sector, what you're saying is you're adding a new expense, and that expense is called profit. Right? But it's deeper than that. They pay more for Medicare Advantage because, again, since you're paying a whole lot of companies, each of those companies have their own CEO. Each of those companies have their own databases. Each of those companies have their own CFO. So those high salaried people got to be paid. And guess what they're paid with? You got it. Your money. Your money pays for that. Anyway, continuing. During his first term, former President Donald Trump took steps to actively encourage seniors to choose Medicare Advantage plans over traditional Medicare and expand the benefits that the private-run plans are allowed to offer. Those efforts have had an impact, as Pettis noted. Last year, the first time ever, a majority of Americans eligible for Medicare were on privatized Medicare Advantage plans, and that's a shame. Let me stop the article here. Anybody listening to my voice, do not fall for the trickery and the bells and whistles and get Medicare Advantage. I mean, to some extent, let me qualify though. there are some people that can only get Medicare Advantage because they don't have the amount of money for the premiums that they'll have to get for the Medigap program. To which I say the following. Still get traditional Medicare and just don't get the gap. And, well, no. I can't say that. I can't officially say this. But I'll unofficially say a lot of doctors and hospitals will work for the 80% and forgive the 20%. Okay? There are ways around getting the 20% forgiven if you don't have Medigap. But the idea is you should get standard traditional Medicare and get Medigap. And get a good Medigap plan that's inexpensive as can be. But Medicare Advantage will destroy our healthcare system. It will continue to transfer most of our money to the wealthy as we get, and the way they get more and more money each year is denying us more care. Get rid of giving us care. All right. If Republicans win the presidential race this year, he wrote, the push to fully privatize Medicare, the government healthcare insurance program for seniors and people with disabilities will only intensify. Okay? And let me pause to read what Brida had to say. She says, Egberto Willis, why do they call it Medigap? Isn't it the same as secondary insurance? It's Medigap. They call it Medigap because it's the amount of, it's a 20% that Medicare does not cover. So they call it Medigap because it's the gap between the full payments. That's why they give it the name Medigap. Okay? If Republicans win, I read that already. Every year, new and existing Medicare recipients have an opportunity to enroll in Medicare Advantage plans, which engage in aggressive and often highly deceptive advertising practices to lure seniors who are often seeking out benefits not currently offered by traditional Medicare, such as vision and dental. Once enrolled in Medicare Advantage plans, which offer limited networks of doctors and overbill the government to the tune of $140 billion a year, patients often feel trapped and are subjected to care denials and other deep flaws in the program that have drawn growing attention from lawmakers in recent years. And you've seen many of the articles that I've done on Medicare Advantage. In Project 25, that is a conservative Bible if they win the presidency. I repeat, Project 25, look it up, read it. It's a conservative, orgasmic document. Okay? Look it up. That is probably the document that will most, if ever implemented, would send us back to the dark ages for the masses and enrich a few. But we'll digress. If Project 2025, which is led by the right-wing Heritage Foundation, gets its way, Medicare Advantage providers will be given even greater power over the critical government insurance program. The Trump administration embraced many of the Heritage Foundation policy recommendations during its first year in power. His first year. Donald Trump and his MAGA Republican cronies plan to totally privatize Medicare if they win in November election. The progressive advocacy group Social Security Works wrote in response to Rolling Stone's reporting, hell no, hands off our earned benefits. Philip Vernoff, president of Physicians for a National Health Program, told Rolling Stone that Project 2025's plan to make Medicare Advantage a default enrollment option would be disastrous. Why? People don't read a lot of these things when it's coming. They just check it off. We got to be careful, folks. Project 2025 has said that it doesn't speak for any presidential candidate, but Trump's re-election campaign has relied on parts of the coalition's proposed agenda for second-term planning. Trump's team has faced backlash over some of Project 25's work, including draft executive orders that would use the Insurrection Act to deploy the U.S. military against demonstrators. As the Washington Post reported in December, Trump campaign senior advisor Susie Wiles complained privately to Project 2025's director and asked the coalition to stop promoting its work to reporters. We want to do this on the down low. We don't want everybody to know that we plan to take over, man. Chill. Don't tell people that what we want to do. You're going to cost us the election when they find out we're going to screw them. No. We got to talk Project 2025. Seth Schuster, a spokesperson for President Joe Biden re-election campaign, warned in a statement Monday that if Donald Trump wins this November, he and Republicans will continue their push to end Medicare as we know it for millions of Americans. Trump will leave millions of seniors with fewer benefits and less access to doctors, all to benefit his big insurance donors, said Schuster. In Trump's America, the special interests win and seniors and working families lose. Worse care, broken promises, and higher costs. That's Trump's plan for seniors and working families. In addition to making Medicare Advantage a default enrollment option for Medicare, Project 2025 is calling for the revival of the global and professional direct contracting model, a Medicare privatization scheme that Biden administration rebranded as ACO REACH and slightly modified to the dismay of physicians, healthcare campaigners, and progressive lawmakers who called for the repeal of the Trump-era pilot program. So you see, these things have a way of sticking. Once they institute it, it sticks. It sticks. All right, let's continue here. Let's see. Egberto is all about denying choice, yet he calls that freedom. Nope. The people who deny choice are the people who want Medicare Advantage. Let me school you again, Mr. Cisak. If you get Medicare, traditional Medicare, you choose your doctor. You choose your hospital. Your doctor chooses what's the best medication for you. If you choose Medicare Advantage tells you what hospitals you can go to. That's a private sector. What hospitals you can go to, what doctors you can see, what medicines the doctor is allowed to prescribe to you. So as you can see, Mike Cisak, I think it's you who don't understand. The free choice comes from having your healthcare covered by the government insurance. It's the private sector that rips you off. It's the private sector that limits your choice. Mike Cisak, that's a statement of fact. Look it up. But don't look it up on right-wing sites. Look it up on neutral sites. Because it's clear to me that the right-wing site has done something to many psyches in the chat right now. Lee Grant says, I'd be more concerned about the level of healthcare people receive than how it is sourced. Exactly. Well, then you should definitely want Medicare traditional, because Medicare Advantage, sorry, guy. Sorry. Mike Cisak says, Maywood, I posted the link for, okay, that's a private conversation. All right, let's see what else we got here. It's something. Michael says, I'm tired, back to bed. Oh, Michael, take care of yourself. Have you been partying too much? All right, let's see what else we got. Bree says, you must feel better. Here goes Egberto. I gave you the facts, sir. Let's see what else we got. Denying choice. Tell me about pro-life again. They only like the fetus, man. They like the unborn. That's who the Republican politicians like. Mike Cisak says, I have on Medicare sites, you're actually wrong. No, I'm actually right, sir. It's a statement of fact, what I just told you. You can look it up anywhere you want to. Every doc accepts Medicare. What the hell is he? He doesn't, again, look, Mike Cisak is a nice person, but he has completely lost credibility with me when it comes to fact-based information. And that's fine. I still want him to come here because some of this is going to stick. At some point, he's going to get sick and get screwed by the people who he likes to support. And then we'll be here waiting with open arms, because that's what I tell people. we have to give everybody a place to land. So Mike Cisak will always have a place to land in the PDR posse, even as he allows himself to be misled by the right wing. Gene Daigle says, lucky I have TRICARE for life once I get to the retirement age. Being currently retired military, I wish everyone in the U.S. access to the same socialist healthcare I have. I know, right? I know, man. I know, Gene. What can I say? You hit the jackpot. You hit the health care jackpot, and that is healthcare for life. The duck that quacks is in the house. How are you doing, duck that quacks? He says, poor guy doesn't under or diddly about pre-authorization. I know that they don't see it. All right. Can doctors refuse Medicare? The short answer is yes, thanks to the federal government's low reimbursement rates, stringent rules, and gruel paperwork. Oh, Lord. You actually think that the reimbursement rates for Medicare Advantage is going to be better, right? Oh, Lord. Medicare typically pays doctors only 80% of what private health insurance pays. No. Private insurance can only pay what we give them to pay, okay? Don't forget that. Madre mia carajo pinga. I am resetting. Bridge MCP. This is what I talk about. You reset. You let the willfully ignorant go ahead and continue to be invited into our space at the same time that we hope. I don't believe in hope. At the same time that we understand that repeating fact-based information will eventually stick. Okay? Will eventually stick. Mike Cisak, you may want to say my accuracy rating is low. The good thing about it is my website is rated. And it's higher than every single website that you go to, brother. Let's remember that. My site is rated as factual. Extremely factual, actually. So thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. All right, let's see what else we got, folks. I don't have any more videos, and I am done reading the article, covering the article on Medicare Advantage. All I can tell you is the following. Please do not be fooled into getting Medicare Advantage. If by all means possible, if you can by all means afford, what should I say? Traditional Medicare with Medigap, please do so. Don't be don't let them fool you by saying, oh, we'll buy you some groceries. Oh, we'll give you a ride to the doctor. Oh, we'll give you dental care. The dental care is usually terrible. The dental care is generally just advertising for the dentist. The dental care goes ahead and they say, okay, I'll work with this HMO or I'll work with this plan. And then you go in for service and they say, okay, this covers your cleaning. And now that you need a root canal, your portion for the root canal is going to be this. And it's almost the same as just somebody walking in. Don't be fooled. Don't be fooled by the groceries. Don't be fooled by, oh, we're going to give you a little bit of cash in your hands. Don't be fooled. Please don't. It's what hurts us all. Do not take Medicare Advantage. I repeat, do not take Medicare Advantage. Go for traditional Medicare. Egberto, Medicare Advantage does work in certain states, but not many. My brother has it. My neighbor changed here in New York and now can't get a doctor. Again, it all depends on where you're at, right? If you're in a place that have great amount of doctors, etc., it will work temporarily, but it'll work until it doesn't work. That's a problem. It'll work until it no longer works, because remember, the reason you have to re-up your Medicare Advantage every year is not for you. I mean, if you're on Medicare Advantage and you love your plan that you're on Medicare Advantage, everything is working out fine. You don't want to have to re-up that every year, but that's what they do. They make you re-up it every year because they're going to take all the plans that they have figure out which plans are making the most money, try to push you onto the plan that makes them the most money, and get rid of the others. And if a plan, God forbid, a plan is losing money, if a plan is losing money, you're a host. They're definitely going to shut it down and put you onto some other plan, because it has never been about you. It has never, ever been about your health care. It has always been about how can they maximize the amount of dollars they're getting from whom? You, through your taxes, through Medicare, and all these other features. It's important that we understand all of this, people. MR Rational says, honest and free debate. All those right-wing spots only let people on who agree. Exactly. I let everybody on. My neighbor is healthy as heck, doesn't even take meds at 72. Well, she's healthier than I am too. Because I'm on 3 pressure medicines, man. You know, what can I say? ¿Qué puedo decir? Pero eso no importa. Doesn't matter. Because I'm having fun, because I'm with my peeps, you know? But anyhow, folks, we are at the hour 3:55, and we are going to have to prepare to get out of here. So what I'm going to do is do my last ask. And I'm going to ask all of you out there, first of all, we need your support. Please go ahead and visit politicsdoneright.com/support. politicsdoneright.com/support. That gives you all the different options in which how you can support us. And let me give you the link here. And I cleaned that up recently, you know. Let me show you what it looks like now. This is what it looks like now. These are all the methods of support that we have. So you can click any one of those guys. Oh, I don't have it on the screen, do I? I thought I did. I thought I did. I thought I did. I thought I did. Where are you? Where are you? You are behind somewhere. Let me pull you up from the backside. Put you back in here. Oops. I'm going to show you how beautiful that side is now that I cleaned it up some. Let's see if this will link up in there. There we go. So if you notice, that is a Politics Done Right, that support site. You can go ahead. Yeah, I'm also still on KPFT every morning. I am on KPFT every morning at 6 o'clock in the mornings. Every morning at 6 o'clock. And we start our fund drive. Actually, I think our fund drive starts tomorrow. Anyway, here you go. Become a patron. You can become a subscriber on Substack. You can buy our books. You can become a member at Facebook. You can also just become a member via PayPal. You can subscribe to our network on YouTube. You can also go ahead and shop at our store, or you can join our Spotify podcast. Those are all the different ways that you can support our the PDR posse. Any one of those will work. And again, it's very easy. Alternatively, what we're really striving for is we want you to support us on Substack, right? Go to politicsdoneright.com/newsletter. politicsdoneright.com/newsletter. Our newsletter is free, but if you become a paid subscriber, if you decide to pay for it, you will be able to read all our books, all 5 of my books, and we have more books in the pipeline as well. You'll be able to read all of our books. So please consider going to politicsdoneright.com/newsletter, and you can actually do it. Tom C says Medicare Advantage is an advantage for people who are not sick. Medicare Advantage provides gift certificates, gym memberships, credit card cashback. But when you get seriously ill, good luck getting coverage. Exactly. You nailed it. That's exactly what it's like. All right, folks, it's about that time where I get out of Dodge. So I want again to urge you one more time to go ahead and support the program at politicsdoneright.com/support. And I'm putting that in there one more time. politicsdoneright.com/support. Subscribe to our newsletter, preferably as a paid subscriber. Go to politicsdoneright.com/newsletter. politicsdoneright.com/newsletter. I got to get out of here. My name, of course, folks, is Egberto Willies. This is Politics Done Right. And you guys know, you really, really, really know how I end this baby. I am what? Out!
We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead. Number one, subscribe to our channel, and number two, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.